final storyteller is Ever Leon. Ever Leon is from Mexico and moved to the U.S. with his family when he was 4. He was raised in the community of Boyle Heights in Los Angeles and attended Santa Clara University. In fact, Ever came to us from Francisco Jimenez, who taught there as well and knew Ever, and knows Ever. He's now been a teacher for the past 10 years. And thanks to DACA, he's excited to pursue even higher dreams. He likes to run, sing, and learn new things. And he is not related to Miriam. So, but welcome, Ever.
Thank you. This process reminds me of a chorus line. He's a director with the dancers and telling you our stories. So here's my turn, stepping into the light. As an undocumented student, I have faced a lot of losses. As you've heard from my fellow companions here, it's just loss after loss. Today I'll be telling you 2 stories of loss. The first one is a personal loss that at some point all of us here, face either right now or in the future or in the past. The loss is about my father. It was winter of 2006, and I was excited to go back to LA with my family to be close with them and be surrounded with a lot of gifts and around the Christmas tree. But also I wanted to go back and see how my dad was really doing. For the longest time, he had been battling cancer of the liver. And we just didn't know what was going to happen with him. So when I went back to LA 2006, I went with my mom and my dad to the hospital. So we enter the room, and that's the usual room that you go into when you go to visit the doctor. There's a gurney, 4 chairs, cabinets, and several medical instruments. And we sat in a circle, and we just waited for the doctor to come in and give us the update. A few minutes later, the doctor came in with his folder, and he joined our cozy circle. Obviously, he saw my parents, and then he asked me if my parents spoke English, and I said no. And at that moment, I became the translator for my parents, as most of us do in this country. So he gave us the updates, and I kept translating that to my parents. And toward the end, he said, "Tell your dad he only has a few months to live." So you can just imagine, it took a lot of courage to say that to a parent. I mean, here you are giving this sad news to the one person that you look up to. Obviously, when that happened, my world just stopped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't hear anything, and I was frozen. As you can imagine, it took several minutes for me to regain my composure, but I snapped out of it, and I told my dad the bad news. I gave him the news in December of 2006, and then he passed away peacefully in our house on April 11th, 2007. So that's something that I have encountered in terms of a huge personal loss that I'm sure some of you here can relate to that. The second personal loss that I've encountered in my life, obviously there's a lot of losses that I've encountered, but the second one that I want to share with you deals with graduate school. Yes, as Elliot mentioned, I went to Santa Clara University, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. But I knew that I wanted to continue with my dreams and to be the best that I can be. So I applied to this fully funded graduate program at a very prestigious Midwestern university. As you do, you write your personal statement, you get your letters of recommendation, you do your resume, you complete the entire application, you submit it, and then you just wait for the best. So I waited for a few weeks, and I got a letter from the university telling me that I had been selected for their second round, which consisted of an individual interview with the admissions committee. And so that day came for the interview. I walked in, and to my right and to my left, there's other students from Santa Clara that were also selected for the interview process. And I said, oh goodness, here we go. Because all of us were really great, amazing people, and I knew them. And I knew they had excellent grades. I knew they were pretty involved on campus and also off campus. But I said to myself, just relax, take it easy, be yourself, and just answer the questions confidently. My interview came really fast, and I was nervous, I was trembling, my hands were sweating, but I just took it easy and I answered every question with confidence. I left the room and I said, okay, well, I just leave it to God and see what happens. On March 14th, 2007, I got a letter from the university telling me congratulations. They had selected me. Later on, I found out that I was the only one from Santa Clara they had selected. And I was very excited. When I got the letter, I was very, very excited for that opportunity to go to graduate school, to continue with my education with a fully funded scholarship. But then I knew that one of the components of the program was to work in the country. So I knew that was going to be a very difficult thing for me to tell the director about my undocumented status. But before I went to the university for orientation, I gave the director a call and I told him, before I go, before you pay for my airplane ticket, I need to really be honest with you, and this is why. So after it took a lot of guts for me to divulge that information to him, because you never know how people are going to perceive you after that. After I said my story to him, he said, well, let me think about what we can do, and I'll give you a call back in a few days. At that same time, that's what my whole thing with my dad happened as well. So I had lost my dad, and then a few days after, the admissions director gave me a call back, and he said, I'm truly sorry, but since you're undocumented, you cannot come. And obviously, I was about to graduate. I wasn't sure what to do, but I knew that I had to be strong, because it's something that as an undocumented student, you have to go through life and be very, very strong. But at that very moment, I was confused. I didn't know where to go, and I felt hopeless. And the following song that I'll be singing to you, it's really how I felt at that very moment. Where do I go? Follow the river. Where do I go? Follow the ghosts. Where is the something? Where is the someone that tells me why I live and die? Follow the winged song. Follow the thunder. Follow the neon in young lovers' eyes. Down to the gutter. Up to the glitter. Into the city where the truth lies. Where do I go? Follow my heartbeat. Where do I go? Follow my hand. Where will they lead me? And will I ever discover why I live and die? I live and die. Why do I live? Why do I die? Tell me, where do I go? Tell me why. Tell me where. Tell me why. Tell me where. Tell me why. But even though there's a lot of losses as an undocumented student, there's also a lot of happy moments. After that, those two experiences with my loss, I decided to really continue with my life and stay strong. And as many of us know, you have to just cope with that. And we all have a different way of coping with loss and grief. My way of finding my solution to that was to pursue theater. And it was my last quarter of Santa Clara, and I had already taken all my classes, and I had a few space to take an acting class. So there I go to pursue my childhood ambition to be an actor. But as you may know, acting classes are very nerve-wracking, and especially if you're a newbie. But that entire experience really turned my life 360 degrees. I mean, it just completely changed my life. After graduation, I started to audition for several theater companies in the South Bay. So far in my resume, I have a lot of different productions on my resume. Some of them include Rent, Chicago, Spamalot. And the reason why I like theater so much, not only because it really just allowed me to emote these feelings of anger or bliss, and it really took me out of that loss, but it also provided me a safe space where I was able to be free for the first time. Free from being undocumented, free to be myself. No one was there to judge me for who I was, and they accepted me for who I truly was. So that entire experience really was a happy moment for me, and continues to be a very happy moment for me. But looking back in terms of where I am now in my life, I have to thank everyone who has helped me along the way. In high school, I had to tell my counselors that I was undocumented because I really wanted to go to college, and I knew that in order for them to help me, I had to tell them my story. Fortunately, they guided me in the right direction, and Santa Clara at the time offered full scholarships to undocumented students, but you just didn't know. You had to really just find out and just really just do your best. So I applied and I got the scholarship from Santa Clara, and I was truly, very, very excited. But I have to thank my counselors from high school and my mentors for helping me up to that point. When I was in Santa Clara, I met a great group of friends and great professors like Francisco Jimenez that really just continued to inspire me to pursue my dreams. And then in 2012, obviously DACA passed. And after I got the letter with my card that said you're able to work here legally now, I look back and I think, man, like, wouldn't it be nice to have had this way back when I had to go to graduate school? How much different my life would have been. But I still got what I didn't get with a lot of hard work and dedication. Now I teach middle school, and I continue to do service to others, something that Santa Clara taught me, to give back to my community. I would like to leave you with a quote from the song Imagine, because I think it just resonates a lot of compassion and understanding during these times of turmoil. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Thank you.